Alright guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'll be covering part 2 to the story about the husband who goes absolutely scorched earth after his wife not only demanded an open marriage, but was such a giant, about the whole thing. And where we left off, he put his plan into place, and now he was about to wreak havoc. And so without wasting any more time, because I know you guys have been patiently waiting, now we're going to get into what he had in store for her after what she pulled on him. So he says here, number 1, I began to use her lap as a pillow while checking my Tinder so she could see who was texting or matching with me. Whenever I saw a gal who was an 8 or a 9, I would take a screenshot in front of her and say things like, "Holy crap, look how hot she is." The guys need to see this. They're going to be so jealous of me. One night after a few times I did that, she came to our bed wearing nothing but an open robe and straddled me. She began moving on top of me and asking how jealous my friends would be when I met her. I just laughed and asked who would be jealous of something like that. Her eyes watered, she rolled over to her side of the bed and spent half the night sniffling. Yeah, you got 8s and 9s that are in their 20s, and probably college girls. Number 2. She tends to eat when she's stressed out and never brings any high-calorie foods or desserts or snacks to the house. Of course, during these stressful months of neglect and uncertainty, I filled our house with snacks, chocolates, sugary treats, teas, plus her favorite desserts, and watched her stuff her effing feelings. At the end, she must have gone up 2 sizes. Damn, dude, that's awesome. He also says, one of my frat brothers, Josh, threw a dinner for his birthday. The guy's hilarious, but he's also an ass. After we'd been drinking for a few hours, the wives started talking about Netflix and a show with royals. And the conversation went from dresses to a Duke guy, and eventually to how men used to treat women before. Oh, this is going to be good. One of the wives, pretty drunk by then, said that chivalry is dead. She said that we should learn how to treat women from romance novels and period dramas because the Duke knew how to romance a woman. My wife joined in, complaining about how women deserve to be treated like queens, and that made the colossal mistake of saying that she was born in the wrong era. You gotta be, number 1, chivalry. The idea of chivalry is nothing what it was. And number 2, okay, you want gentlemanly behavior, well then act like a freaking lady. There ain't no ladies anymore. And by the way, we know what happens when you treat your average gal like a lady. You're seen as weak. And they detest that. So showing you they don't know what the F they want. Well, that's when my bro Josh laughed and told her she should be grateful she wasn't born in that era. Because back then, adulterers and WHORESs weren't awarded with castles and jewelry. They were ostracized and publicly shamed. Well, naturally, after that, the party went to shit. There was fighting. A woman ended up drenched after trying to pour a drink on one of the husbands who laughed at them. And my wife had a crying, screaming fit after Josh told her she should be happy because at least in this area, she gets to have a few friends. She tried for a while to make me cut contact with Josh, but I told her that if she didn't stop, I would divorce her. Good for you. You described your buddy as an ass. Well, everybody has that one friend, but we love him anyway, It's like he's an ass, but he's our ass. Number 3. I nickname my dates based on their best attributes, such as I'm meeting double Ds, or sorry babe, I have dinner plans with sexy legs, or I would love to, but gorgeous face texted me now. When my wife complained, I smiled and said, come on babe, it's not like I can learn all their names. Besides, they like it. She told me women don't like that. It's demeaning and misogynistic. And yet they chase those guys. I hugged her and said that I bet she had a gorgeous face with sexy legs. She would love to be called that. Ooh. She spent a few days acting all pitiful, but never complained about their nicknames again. Number 4. I made sure to write the date of the next company event in our shared calendar. She loved attending those events. She loved playing the perfect wife. The woman who had it all, especially next to any woman she knew was married. So I knew she would keep her night free to join me. On the day of the event, I returned from the gym to find her already getting ready. I said hi and started dressing behind her. Well, she fixed her hair and asked me a bunch of questions, like who else would be there, which wives were attending, and if she should order an Uber so we could both drink. I just looked at her and asked, we? Why would we order an Uber? She waved her hands over her dress as if it was the dumbest question I ever asked. I honestly had planned to simply smile and tell her that she was not coming. But seeing her standing there, all dressed up, actually expecting me to take her so she could play the role of a devoted wife, made me burst into laughter, and I couldn't stop. Dude, this is hilarious. And we're only on number 4 here. And to make it worse, she looked very hurt by my reaction, so that made me laugh even harder. I told her she was hilarious, that I loved her, but I couldn't attend an important company event accompanied by the whole, and still expect anybody to respect me. She was horrified, but before she could start any drama, I gave her my credit card and suggested she order takeout or make the best of the outfit by going on a date. Then I left her. Oh, well, she could have taken your credit card and went and bought a fucking car if she wanted to. Well, that night, she called dozens of times and sent a bunch of unhinged texts. When I didn't respond to her, I got a message from her best friend saying that any man who calls a woman the whole should be ashamed and doesn't deserve the title of a man. Like I care what you think, Harpy. I replied that I agree with her, and I couldn't believe Andrew would nickname my wife that. What a monster. Well, that night, when I got back from the event, my wife was awake, waiting for me. This was the first time she questioned our decision to open the marriage, suggesting that maybe we had rushed into things. It was your idea, Sugar Muffin. Can't go back now. I told her we were both happy that opening the marriage wasn't the mistake. Opening her leg for someone like Andrew was. I told her to stop thinking about these unnecessary things. The marriage is still open, but I hope she works on her taste and picks better next time. I could just see her get screaming and throwing a dish at the door while you walked away. Number 6. I made the mistake of sending a sausage pic telling her no one has ever made me feel this turned on, and how I couldn't wait to be inside of her. When she responded with a spicy picture saying to come and get her, I texted her, "Oh, sorry, babe, wrong number." By the way, I think today is your day to take out the trash. Love you. Whew. Salt in the wound. 7. This took me months to make this one happen, but in short, I slept with a well-known psychotic neighbor who is a single mom. Smack! Are you nuts? I know there's a plan here and revenge, but no, it's not worth it. You got plenty of other options here. It's the only time I'm smacking you. It says, I know, but I was planning to move in the end, so I didn't care if the neighborhood burned down. She was so insane that after some months of seeing her and giving her a little nudge in the right direction, the crazy neighbor proposed to my wife that I should flip living arrangements, so I would live with them as a family and visit my wife. Well, that did not go well with my wife. She demanded I stop seeing the neighbor and threatened divorce. I told her I would end things with the neighbor, but not because she told me to, but because I didn't want the responsibility of a child. She also warned her to stop being so controlling, or I would divorce her. I then told the crazy neighbor that I wanted to be with her, but claimed my wife was threatening me with false ABUSC allegations, and that she would accuse me of doing bad things and controlling, so I didn't stop seeing her. That I loved our time together, but I needed to protect myself. This caused the crazy neighbor to start a harassment campaign against my wife. She told anybody she could that my wife was being selfish by not allowing her son to have a father figure, saying how she was the one abusing me and controlling me. Unleash the Kraken. The neighbor then followed my wife everywhere she went. My wife was terrified of leaving the house, and whenever she cried or told me to do something about it, I would just tell her that I guess it was a risk to invite obsessive people into a marriage when you opened it. Number 8. Was the crazy neighbor named Jessica? I'm just curious. Number 8. As soon as we opened the marriage, I started wearing condoms with my wife. And I don't know if it was because she wanted to get pregnant or what, but she hated it. Dude, absolutely, you want to wear protection because she can now trap you with it, She complained every single time we had you-know-what, saying that having her husband wear condoms with her made her feel like she was dirty, which she was. Yeah. But I told her it was to protect her since I was sleeping with many, 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 many other women. That if she knew how many women and the things I'd done with them, she'd be the one demanding I never take the condom off. Of course, this turned into a drama fest of her demanding I tell her what I was doing with them and stop. Wasn't the rules that you don't talk about Fight Club, that you don't talk about what you were doing with the other women? Then, just for fun, whenever she was calmer or having a good day, I would leave spicy websites open on the computer and kept a notepad open with some notes and names. I always picked themes like BDSM, three ways, and women who looked like nothing like her, with super fit bodies, or anything that I never tried with her or that I knew would make her stress out. Damn, dude. Like I said, scorched earth. This is one to remember. Number 9. I expected to lose half my savings in the divorce, but I also figured that when it came time to split the house, she would want things like the car and the living room furniture, leaving the electronics and other quote-unquote man stuff with me. So to lower the amount of cash she would get, I started buying things. While we had an open marriage, I got a new TV, upgraded the surround system to a Bose system, stocked my bar with top-shelf drinks, and replaced my fishing gear. I also bought a new computer, new weights for my home gym, and updated my wardrobe. At the same time, I bought her new furniture, upgraded the kitchen, and did other stuff. That way, when the divorce happened, it would look like I was trying to make our home better for both of us. Plus, the renovations helped bring the price of the house up. Exactly. If you're doing something to add value to the house and you know you're going to sell the place and get half, there you go. This is a good idea with the cash. I would also, I'm going to the casino with the bros, and oh shit, I lost $20,000, and that cash can just, put in a safe place. Number 10. By the time my wife had gained significant weight from her stress eating habits and complained about how it hit her confidence, I bought an expensive lingerie set and left it on the kitchen counter so my wife would see it as soon as she entered the house. When she arrived, I told her I had a surprise for her. She rushed to the counter, took out the lingerie, and jumped happily. She jumped happily? I laughed and told her, "Come on, babe, it's not like you can fit into that." Then I pushed a $5 paperback that was behind the lingerie bag towards her. I said, "This is for you." I made sure it was about poly love. I took the lingerie back from her hands and stuffed it into the bag. I then told her, "Have fun reading the book and not wait up." 11. One Friday, I decided it was time to increase her levels of stress. So I told my wife I had a romantic cabin getaway planned with a date, and I would be out of reach the entire weekend. Before leaving, I printed information, research, and positive blood tests for herpes and HPV, and I put them in a folder and left it on the kitchen counter. I texted my dad that I would be shutting down my phone and to ignore my wife if she called him. He's probably like, no problem there. If my dad needed anything, I would be staying at the X Hotel for 2 days. Well, on Sunday evening, I returned home to find my wife crying and terrified, completely drunk and out of her mind. She screamed at me, slapped me, and shoved some papers onto my chest, telling me that she had her test done on Saturday morning, and that if the results came back positive, she would sue me for everything I owned. She hit you, huh? Not good. I asked her why those papers were still there, and she flipped the F out. She screamed and cried, saying that after I had possibly ruined her life, all I could do was ask why the papers were still in her effing house. I said, yeah, that's one of my brothers who works at a high school was supposed to pick them up. He had asked me to print them out as a guideline for his SEX education class after his printer broke down, and the school printer is always packed. Of course, I was confused about why those papers were still here. She then had the strongest 2-hour meltdown I've ever seen in my entire life. She sobbed and hyperventilated while telling me everything she did, the shame of taking the test, and how her friends reacted, and that was brutal. Dude, this is hilarious. I just feigned ignorance and asked why she would think that she would have it just by seeing some random tests. But before she could answer, I added, right. I guess the open relationship exposed you to these kind of diseases. Sorry, babe. After years of being safe from issues like these, I didn't see anything wrong with printing those papers for a friend. I hugged her and reassured her that everything would be okay. I told her I wasn't angry with her, but that next time she shouldn't go through my stuff, as misunderstandings like that can easily happen when things are taken out of context, especially now that we are at risk after opening the marriage. It's hilarious, man. You knew darn well, obviously, that she was going to go through your stuff, the folder, see those things, freak the F out. Well played. Well, later on, when she got the test and they were negative, she asked me to sit down and talk. Oh, I see where this is going. I did, but instead of talking, she made the biggest tragedy show of crying and cleaning her tears while telling herself she would get through the pain. After a few minutes of her contemporary shitty performance, I got up to leave, but she stopped me and said that she was closing the marriage. Interesting. What happened to this being the greatest thing ever and helping the muscle in our heart grow big and blah, blah, blah. But okay, you can close it, but I ain't closing it. Well, I said okay, and she brightened up immediately. She was all smiles and zero tears. Imagine that, how the tears just stopped flowing like that. Almost like they were fake. She then started to make plans for how we should go on vacation so we can go back to ourselves, start having children, and a bunch of other things. I told her everything sounded great, and I promised I would help her check the hotels for getaways when I returned from my date. What date, she asked, very annoyed, telling me that she had just closed the marriage. I told her, yes, you closed it on your side, that if she wants to stop seeing other people, that's fine by me. I would never tell her what he can do or what can be done with her body. She started She started sobbing, telling me we need to close our marriage. And I asked why. That she was right. Opening the marriage was amazing, and I'd never been happier and satisfied. She said it's not working for her. I told her she could close her side. I would never force her to do anything she doesn't want, but she said she wanted me to close it too. And I told her that I'm sorry, but she taught me that being in a loving marriage meant that we didn't control each other or allow any jealousy or insecurities to dictate how our partner experienced life. We all heard that earlier. You all recall that, guys, in part 1. Something like that. I asked her if she didn't love me anymore, because if she stopped loving me and wants to control my body, then I think we should get a divorce. This all evolved into a lot of visits and calls from her sister mom, but she eventually shut up. Dude, genius, evil, but that's okay, because we're all a-holes here. So guys, that is the end of part 2. And an hour after this is published, I'm going to wrap this whole thing up at part 3, where you can obviously see the direction where this is going and how our guy most certainly has the last laugh. See you then.